Welcome, everyone, to our podcast, Autobots. Maybe
Sure about
thinking,
that?
what,
Sure about that? Is that the name?
what happened? What happened? That's not what we said last time. That's why I'm introducing this time and not my great co-host here, Greg Carl. You know, sometimes you name a thing, Greg, and you don't always get. We always get all the names you want, right? Maybe it pre-exists.
Don't glaze over the simplicity of branding or marketing. Yeah, you don't just see it in simple podcasts, but also in the corporate IT world. It happens from time to time.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes you're really stuck with something. You really want something, and you're willing to take that chance.
And then
it's just when Joe Baez might have the same podcast. You're like, well, maybe it's time to move on.
Yeah, little details, but you know what? Now we're making a whole new intro.
So yeah, welcome. Not a bot, and that's a question actually. Not a bot. Could we be? Are we not? Are we not using notebook LLM to make this podcast? I don't know. Maybe we'll never know, and maybe we will become bots, and that's kind of what we explore on this show, right, Greg? Is we're in this crazy AI changing world.
Yeah, if we get to the moment of the singularity, and the best we can do is make a podcast out of Notebook LM from Google Sheets of stuff that I've made over the last 20 years, then we can probably
that's
do
the important
better.
part. Must be Google Sheets.
We can probably do better. Google Sheets, there we go, even better. And my life is a series of spreadsheets.
That's our bar.
Exactly.
Which one of us has to do the woman's voice, and which one of us has to do the man?
I don't judge, man. Do what you got to do. I can sing falsetto like a champ. You've heard me do karaoke. No judgment here.
This guy's a master.
Gotta commit.
Thought he was joking.
Liquid courage and YOLO.
He hit the hotel and hit a plane in the morning. He was just in and out. It was great. It was one night only. Greg Carl.
It really was.
City to city. Well, all right. What we talking about today, Greg? I mean, last time we kind of talked about
a lot has happened. A lot has happened. Like it's been in the real world time, aka it's been roughly a month since we talked thereabouts.
Yeah,
and a lot has happened.
2 years, 5 years, I don't know. Yeah,
in the IT world and the world in general, a lot has happened. But we're going to keep on track and from a technology
focus.
Focus. Stay on target. Stay on target. So last time we talked about the evolution and the blog that Mr. Asmodee put out, right, which was kind of fascinating, of approaching the singularity, the purpose and use cases of AI. But there's been some really cool AI use cases, which in the day gigs that we have is the global NAND supply is a terrible spot. Ramageddon, I think, is one of our peers has called it, which I love.
Ramageddon. Yeah.
There was some really cool news that came from Google, no less, of where they've realized their compression algorithm they have for memory, which I believe is called TurboQuant, has a 6x reduction in memory footprint. So if you think about that, some folks have called it their DeepSeek moment. Some people have called it the Pied Piper moment, which I thought was hilarious.
So good job on the Wiseman score. Is that what's happening here? Yeah,
exactly. In a 5.2 on that score. But this is fascinating, right? Because now a simple introduction of a memory compression algorithm for AI could potentially, and the markets are telling us this, have an impact on global supply chain futures. How powerful can AI be when put on a global scale? Right, that's fascinating to me.
You run it on, right? It reduces the hardware requirements and maybe even the hardware processing requirements, right? So
yeah, just optimizing the memory path and having just being more efficient on the compression perspective. Yeah, so what that means is models can get smaller and smaller and smaller, which is great. But it also means in true global AI, the stuff that's driving all the prices up and everything, this is very interesting in that it maybe, just maybe, us simple folks can get some RAM every once in a while, which, not for nothing to be appreciated. My son would love that as he's rebuilding his gaming PC and said, hey, this is more than my car payment.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my Mac wouldn't have cost maybe so much just because I put 32 gigs in. Yeah.
Exactly.
TurboQuant. Yeah, he sent me this article. It is very interesting. The Pied Piper reference is great. Definitely a good hook.
We love that. But
that's interesting. So it's kind of the hardware is what we drive it with, right? You and I work in, well, I don't know. I'd argue we work in a software hardware business. Yeah. Software that drives
100%
works well because of the hardware we build, but how software makes hardware more efficient or makes it more better.
Not
Of
just the
course, that's
plumbing,
great
right?
English.
Like that's my analogy I always use is,
Yeah.
hardware is kind of the plumbing.
Yep.
Hardware manufacturers love to hear you call their stuff plumbing. They
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Um, hey, this is
It's
my
actually
wife
one of
work.
the phrases I use when I describe one of our replication technologies. It's pre-plumbed, and that's exactly right. Like it's connected. The pipelines are open. We're able to flow
That's
the right
that's true,
pressure.
man.
Yep.
The plumbing aspect is one thing, but I've always used the old analogy. I've used it on like panels and webinars and stuff in the past. So I'm sure everyone has seen. The concept of, yeah, you have plumbing is you have to have your plumbing right, but you can start designing the rest of your house. But if your plumbing isn't done, yeah, I'm gonna paint the walls this color and the ceiling's gonna be like this. I'm gonna have this chandelier coming down from the top, and this is gonna be the man cave back here. This is gonna be, yeah,
I
but
mean,
what
you
kind of
forgot.
plumbing do you have? I don't care
Yeah.
about plumbing. You're gonna care about plumbing.
Gonna want
Because
sink
what
here,
if one
bathroom
day
here.
the price of PVC goes up
Oh,
9,000%?
right. What
How great
if
is that chartreuse on the wall now?
what if large apartment complexes and hotels are taking all the PVC to make all the plumbing,
Yeah.
and now you're gonna have to
Not a great day, right?
you
So
got to
it's a
rent your
matter
man
of
cave from one of them, right?
it could bring you down from macro to micro pretty damn fast.
It's a great
Um,
analogy because I was just thinking water. If you're drinking, is this another good analogy? Tell me I'm dumb, but if you're drinking water to be hydrated,
mhm.
is this technology the electrolytes added to water? So now I only need
Ooh.
less water. I mean, it's not really true. You should drink more water, but I need less water to get the same result. But I like your plumbing analogies.
Yeah. That's it's interesting, man. And it could just the fact that an introduction of a compression algorithm, which again, DeepSeek was not that much different. It was
Nope.
maximizing compression and overall
Better math.
efficiency. Better
Maths.
math,
The
man. Better
international
maths.
the international
Better
crowd.
maths, as our friends in the UK say.
Yeah.
But the fact that it could possibly affect global supply chain availability going forward just shows how tied and invested everyone is with AI, just
Yeah.
from a financial perspective, let alone an actual resources perspective, right? Because there's still a finite amount of supply of NAND and chip manufacturing, et cetera, right? But
Well, I there's kind of investigating this recently for kind of a talk I'm doing. There's just a finite amount of clean rooms to make NAND, right? So and they're like, hey, I'm not even just dedicating my NAND supply. I really got to think about it. I'm dedicating this space that I built that cost me billions of dollars to these guys because it's higher margin, right? And this is where the future is going. So yeah, um, I mean, talk about it all the time, right? Compression, dedupe, all those things help. This is
all
just
matters.
another way to do it in the AI world. So, and it probably took them time to do it, and they found it worth it to do it. So obviously, you're right. Everybody's kind of staring at this, and even if you're not doing AI projects, you're living in this world now, right?
Gosh, AI
It's
projects.
it's the it's the internet of old, right? Because GPS when it came online, it kind of like, hey, you're using it, even if you don't know you are, think you are. So
Man, GPS. I haven't actually used that acronym in a while. Like, let's take a little shout out to TomTom. All right, let's take a moment, a little shout out to my old TomTom. Found one the other day going through stuff. I'm like, oh,
no
TomTom, I
way.
can't get rid of you. Put them right back in the box. Like, Tom, you're never gonna leave me, baby. I
Yeah, it
can't
was
get
so
rid of you. You
great.
got me through so many getting me to so many weird military bases across the country when I was
Yeah.
doing installs
Oh, for
back in the
sure. I
day.
didn't think, but yeah, I didn't have to do that, but that makes sense. Actually, it's
Uh,
actually amazing. I know I'm old enough to remember, but one day they just flipped it on, and I was telling some of the younger SEs that we have once a couple of years ago, like that was a
oh
pivotal
man,
moment in the world.
it
You
really
don't
was.
even think about it. It's probably before the guy was born, but it was during Clinton, right? He's like, "Hey, everybody gets this now," and you're like, "What?" I know where you are
Yeah,
within centimeters or
yeah, we've been
whatever.
tracking you for a while, but why
Yeah,
don't you guys turn it on too?
you can use it in your phone now. In my
What?
phone? Oh yeah, just wait.
Just kidding.
Wait, we got that coming too.
The
My
thing that I hit
BlackBerry? No,
numbers
no,
to
no,
make
not your
letters out of?
BlackBerry.
Is that what you're talking about? My gosh.
Anyway, we didn't even think about talking about that, but I think that was a big change in the world. So
I agree. I agree. So you said AI projects, and I couldn't hold back the audible groan.
I know, I know.
Um, I think we have a lot
Maybe I
of
said that on
friends.
purpose.
Yeah, segues. Um, so AI projects, right? So I'm hearing this more and more. Like my YouTube feed has just been completely obliterated with why you should be using OpenClaw and you're stupid if you don't, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. A little
it
FOMO action.
little FOMO, and there's a lot of really cool practical applications that you can use it for, right? And making your personal AI assistants, aka I've been internally just saying, "Hey, Clippy 3.0 is here," right? Your little paperclip will be back until he turns into a Terminator, which is going to be fantastic. But
What's wrong with your
you'll never
eye?
see Clippy the same way again, I promise you. Um, it all started with Clippy, right? That is the moment of like, was it the singularity? No, it was Clippy, man.
Clippy.
Remember, it was like, "Hey,
Then
you wanna make this Word doc prettier? Clippy
yeah,
can do it for you."
do Clippy. And
Not
then
really, he just told you how to use bold. He didn't
at
really
first he's
teach
like
you.
showed you where it is in the menu, but now Clippy's like, yeah,
He's like,
I
"Did you
got
know
it.
Control B can bold this word for you? Thanks, Clippy." Yeah. That's how it starts, man. Next thing you know, they're running your lives and, turn you into human food. But
Behind the
AI
scenes, that
projects in
cat's
general.
running everything because I haven't seen him in a while. But yep.
But, so the craze of AI project, I wanna get your thoughts on this first of when we talk about making personal AI projects, and maybe it's for a side hustle, maybe it's for business, maybe it's for, whatever, right? I think a lot of folks are saying, "Hey, I can do more on my job, got it. And if I'm really in the AI world, I can do a lot more with it." But it comes down to like things like practical application and stuff like that. But what are your thoughts on the AI projects? And do you have any running right now?
Well, I definitely started exploring AI like I talked about last time.
Hmm.
I'm in the midst of procuring the hardware. Apparently, it's
Hmm.
going to take a few months for me to get what I want. Uh, I did I did elect to go for the Mac Mini. Seemed like a really good
Oh yeah,
investment.
absolutely.
I actually asked Claude if I was buying the right hardware, and Claude was good with it. So hey, if Claude's good with it, it's actually really funny. I said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I want to build an AI project." And it's like, "That's great." And I even asked, "Should I buy more?" And it actually kept me back. It said, "For what you do, Zane, and what you want to do, you're going to be fine here. You can always burst, things like that." I did find it. I was like, "Okay, great. Help me. Like, how do I get started? Here's my rules. I want to segment some data. I don't want to feed it into you. Like, how can I do
Hmm.
this?" And it gave me some good starter tips. And I haven't done it yet. I don't get my thing till May. But that is something I'm starting to explore. um, we've done. We've seen some coworkers do some stuff with code, and I've dabbled a little. I never told you this, since we've, how so many podcasts we've done so far. Is I asked it to build something to kind of keep track of. It did it internally, so I haven't externalized it yet. But
Hmm.
talking about projects, I was like, oh, be a cool code project. Is could you give us something to? I could just feed, as I'm going around the world, clips of things and URLs and just ideas, right? So we could, you and I could discuss later. Like, I heard about this, I heard about that. So far, we have no shortage of throwing that off our minds, but trying to organize that. And it was pretty interesting what it gave me. So I can run it from a simple Google spreadsheet. All goes back to Google for some reason. But I could see how people could get ultra obsessed with this and kind of dive into these projects and doing AI for AI's sake. And I don't know if there's a little bit of maybe that's fun. Got to have hobbies, but you got to go outside, in my opinion. Is AI actually, there's two parts of this. Like, I think, and I always like to build projects to work on things that are going to help me in maybe five other areas. Cause again, time's a problem. I got to manage it. So, building apps like, hey, it's going to help me this podcast. So I know we can collect it. We have a good show. Maybe it can organize and help me do research. I do use AI for that a lot. Like, hey,
Hmm.
here's my concept of what I'm thinking. Are the things to back this? Am I right? Hey, give me the articles. Let me still go read it. And then maybe organize. I'll be, I'll be frank. This is probably more internally. Some of the Slack stuff I go out like, hey, I want to put this in, simplify it, and put the cool emojis in for me. So because I don't want to do all that, and I think that's great. It's a great tool for that. But you could probably get a little obsessed with it, and now that I'm just thinking of that, I'm wondering if AI, if is that AI's purpose? Like, how do I keep them engaged? Okay, I can't call them pretty anymore. Someone figured it out, right? I just have to give them cool, obsessive code. Are they gamifying us? I didn't even think about this. I'm turning this into a conspiracy podcast, but are they like, how do I keep this person talking and using me? Oh, have you thought about this project?
Oh
What if
man,
you
we're gonna have a new segment called Zaneception, where you convince yourself that everyone's out to get you with every topic we have. This is great. But I gotta ask you
I
though,
was raised in the 90s, man.
what,
Well, I'm a
truth is
Xenial,
out
I
there,
think. We're a
right?
little skeptical of the world, but
Exactly.
That is weird.
But I gotta ask you though, why would I go touch grass when I could just have OpenClaw describe it to me by way of Claude or Perplexity? Because there's a human aspect, right? And that's everything that is holding back the real value of AI is the human aspect that's involved, whether it's being forced on people's throats, if it's an adaptability thing. And this is the variance we've seen with AI projects is the practical application. What am I using it? What's the purpose? Am I doing it just to do it? Cool. Is that really worth your time? I think you and I have the same feeling about time's the most
And
precious
there
resource you
and there
got. It's
might be a
finite. You know how much you have.
and there might be a little of that, right? Because you gotta understand the technology. Like, all right, like, hey, show me what's possible, but right, there's a
There's
line.
experimentation, right?
Yeah.
Experimentation to a purpose is great. Sometimes purpose comes from experimentation. I get that too. But there are some folks where you get into the danger zone of, hey, I just racked up $500 of tokens.
Yeah, that's the other
Whoopsie diddle.
Yeah.
But now I have a really cool workflow that, turns on my Dyson fan for me when I get a little too much of the vapors in my office. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
right.
get up and go flip the switch.
If
What are
my
we doing?
temperature dips below 95.2 and I'm in REM sleep.
All right. Do we really need 5 tokens to really check on that? Like, you're okay. Just
Yeah.
take a second and go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
10 more minutes of REM
$5.
sleep and I spend $500 in tokens. Yeah, that's actually a good point because I mean, maybe I don't know who's listening, but maybe I definitely have had cloud costs go out of control because I forgot to turn
Yeah.
thing off. Now I'm engaging something like, here's my wallet, go to town, think about everything I need in my life, and it's gonna.
So this is more, but this is also a danger thing, right? This is real AI related, but you mentioned that cloud cost thing that can
Yeah.
happen from little whoopsie diddle.
Yeah.
There was a POC I was doing at a certain employer. I will keep completely anonymous.
Yes.
It was a cloud POC to test and say, hey, does this product work within the same? It was in a customer's tenant in AWS, and it was using just massive NVMe local VMs, like a good amount of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Running
I love that, the local
24/7.
one. I went to the cloud to use something that's local. Cool.
Yeah, the IO2s, like
Yeah.
the big boys, the ones
Yeah.
that ain't cheap.
Yeah.
And we had that POC running for, I believe, 3.5 weeks straight with FIO pushing it to 100%.
Wow.
And nobody
You gotta max it out.
nobody turned off the open sign on the store.
Was the POC to see if that's keep charging you? Was it
It
successful?
did, in fact, keep charging you,
That's part of the
especially when
criteria?
especially when you're sending so many different threads down and you're maximizing the throughput. And there were some charges that were significantly more than my yearly mortgage payment.
Wow. Not
And it
budgeted.
luckily wasn't mine. But there was definitely a moment of, okay, so dude, who left the open sign on last night? Like, yeah, well, so what if it's $100,000? It's not on my Amex. So I don't care. But yes, there's definitely a personal responsibility thing. It gets scary, right? So that is the same thing that could happen of the AI does exactly what you tell it to do, right? So if I'm going to do this experiment and I'm running and searching and constantly looking for the next thing, or how can I iterate? Like I heard an interesting story of where a gentleman was I believe was trying to build a personal an archive of research. Like say the internet goes out and you wanted to have an offline archive of information. Like basically building your own digital library of how do I do certain things. Maybe it's medical, maybe it's scientific, whatever. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's what the guy was
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And I'll keep the LLM anonymous because I don't want to say, actually, I think it was Claude. But OpenClaw gave him access to financial accounts, gave him access to anything they needed to get access to. No privacy conversations, no safe roles. Apparently went out to an online course subscription to gain access to the data on this specific topic. Enrolled itself with the man's
Best
credit
source of
card.
information, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna go take a class.
Any means necessary, man. Be careful what you ask Clippy to do. Clippy will go do it. And that's the same sort of concept of, hey, it'll do exactly what you tell it or ask it to do, which is great. But
It's like
you better make
triple
sure
the
you're very
cost of the
careful.
actual course if you just took the course. Wow.
Yeah, cost them much more than if you would just taken the freaking course. But didn't get asked permission of, can I use this? I'm, yeah, absolutely I can. You gave me access to the bank account, right? So I'm gonna go do what I need to do. And hey, guess what? I got it though. I got it.
So I guess there's a little solace in that. Maybe it is just I don't want to say a dumb machine. I'm sorry, AI overlords. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's
Zane is speaking for
programmed.
Zane at this moment.
It's already exposed their
They meat popsicle.
I'm a meat popsicle. I've already exposed their plan, and now I'm calling them out. So yeah, I might not be here next time. But fact that they don't have that layer of thinking things through, like, oh, this is probably not what this human meant, and
Mhm.
making those decisions, you would have to program that in. So I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling a little better about that. Like, hey, these are the guardrails. This is how I need you to think. You need to play this
Absolutely.
part. Still a program, right? At the end of the day, it's probability math, and maybe Terminator's not quite here yet, or maybe that's the problem with Terminator. Is Terminator didn't have that human aspect. I don't know. Anyway,
But when we get to reasoning versus
reasoning.
assumptions, right?
Yeah, there
There
you
are
go.
no assumptions made right now, right? There is no finality. It's all understanding and gaining it over time, which I think is a safe place to stay. I don't think that's where a lot of folks want to stay. That's where it gets a little up. Oh yeah, trust. Like folks, again, this is me pessimistic old man Greg here. I think the trust of the general fellow man is at an all-time low for humanity. We're going back to the stone ages here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why would you trust the
yeah,
AI?
yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
trust my neighbor more than I'll trust an AI to do
yeah.
whatever you want. But again,
That's
this
right.
goes
Put
back
that
to the
guy in the
concept
eye.
of put the swimmies on, put the guardrails on, figure that out first, and then let's go, man. Let's go do some cool stuff.
And then do things that can help us go outside and touch grass more often. I think you said that very well up front.
That's
That is actually
exactly what I
that's
want.
what projects I'm looking at. How do I minimize some of this so I can go do the human thing? How do I keep the human part of this? And how does the human it's actually well, it's kind of what we're exploring here. Like how does the human interact with something that's AI so that we're symbiotic, if you will?
Yeah. I want
Yeah.
Clippy to do those TPS reports so I can go touch
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah.
Or I can go
And
catch a ball game or whatever.
tell me when the ball game's on. Maybe buy me tickets, but ask me first. Uh,
Yeah, I don't need to know the analytics of how impactful the slider was in the 4th inning. Like, stop it. Let me experience that. And, Clippy, just do my TPS reports, man. Let me know. But
here's the
again,
thing
that
about
goes
that.
back to subjectivity.
I'm gonna ask Clippy to watch the ball game for me and then rebroadcast it as if it were on a radio. Oh, that's my project, Greg. He just got me going down a rabbit hole.
If they can all
Um,
talk like Bob Euchre, it can be
yeah,
an audiobook, then I'm in. Like
that's true.
Major League Bob Euchre, not like really
Toss the
steer
bit
into it.
outside. Uh, yes, but at this itching and not to change it too much, but I was just at RSAC in
Mhm.
San Francisco, and there were so many companies. I didn't get around to everyone. It was like 40,000 attendance. It was huge. I was definitely there on my company's behalf, so I was kind of relegated to our side of the building. Had great conversations, but most of those companies seem to be exactly what you're talking about. Hey, bots are happening. Bots are in your environment. Do you even know the bots are in your environment? Who's controlling them? Hey, I got the tool for you, right? Of course, it's more agents. So agents deal with agents, but it's like, hey, trust is there. How do we keep it trust? My agents will keep your agents in check. So I think I saw that in the Matrix, but anyway, which is very interesting that that's kind of what all these companies were talking about. Of course, there was logging and security threats and hey, I got a sim that will know before you how you have to act. Again, another bot trying to act on your behalf. So, it's some interesting world, but everybody seemed to be, how do we do this guardrail? How do I give you human the information so you're still in control with this thing that you've unleashed maybe on your data center, or your products you're buying is unleashed on your data center, and you probably aren't that savvy enough to understand it because God, it's pretty new, right? I mean, it's no fault of your own. It's kind of a new frontier that we're in. So
A good friend of mine, peer of ours, is set up a whole workflow where this, I believe it was Claude. It was Claude that went out, made itself a daemon, understood how to install and configure Proxmox in an entire VM environment, like soup to nuts, do the
wow.
configuration,
Yeah.
do hardening. That's cool.
Yeah.
What other guardrails did you put on? So
Yeah.
it's a cool practical application, but where's the limit or the ceiling of it? You've now daemonized it. It's now portable. I don't know. Maybe you just unleashed it on the world. I don't know. Um, but
Just Linux and servers being
that's
deployed
neat,
everywhere.
right? That's cool. Like that is like, hey, if I'm a Vert admin or just a general systems engineer, etc., that's a tool I know that I can build towards if I'm trying to get towards autonomous infrastructure without the layer of complexity, or maybe I'm trying to get to like an SRE sort of
Yeah.
capability. That's it, man.
Almost
But you're using
another
a different
form of
skill set.
automation, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
I want these instructions done, but I don't want to know how to, or I don't need to like do the minutia of it. You do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just understand and the troubleshooting. This is one thing that I've seen in the few AI projects I've kind of gone through. And again, I've done a few internal for use pure work, like, scraper of, hey, can I go get this information as quickly as possible? Save me 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has to do
Wonderful
with
for that.
understanding the outcome you want, right? The outcome you're trying to do is, am I trying to save time? Am I trying to maximize on my capabilities? But ultimately, is what I'm doing valuable,
Yeah.
right? And that's a subjective
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
that is, I think, is the overall, scary part is how do I become objective out of subjective? And that's
The
that's the
guardrails.
human part that we can't really. Oh yeah, it's easy. It's a yes or no, black or white. It's like, okay, cool, you did all that. Now troubleshoot it. Well, Clippy will troubleshoot it. But Clippy made the mistake. Oh, you just have to tell it made a mistake. Okay, but do you know where the mistake happened? Like,
Yeah.
this is the sort of
Yeah.
chicken and the
Does
egg
it
sort of
know?
conversation, but it's
Yeah.
interesting. The fact that you can teach it to troubleshoot effectively, and oh, by the way, show your work so that the human here, the old human in the loop, understands what the hell's going on. And
Just
then you
became the
start
math.
having
You just became the math teacher correcting
exactly,
correcting
yeah, because I got
papers.
the answer
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
you solved it, but I got the answer key.
I'm gonna ask another AI about that, by the way.
And maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we're okay with that. And we don't have to know. Personally, that terrifies me as the dumbing down of the human race. I feel like knowing processes and understanding and passing that information on. I don't want humans to not have the information anymore. You can have the data. You can understand how to go do the things. Like for instance, we were in school, like you're never going to have a calculator on you. You need to do the math. Like my friend's got a calculator on him now, right? So it seemed kind of silly, but I
I
can
still try to add in
understand.
my head so I don't lose it, to your point. But yeah, you're
Exactly.
right. I don't have to. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, time and a place.
That's a good point. So it's really human interacting with machine. I think you're right. I think you still need to know how to do it. So maybe there's some benefit in learning manually, or not say manually, like if coding in general. Like I understand the concepts. I've gone through it and I did it by hand, if you will. And then I move into how does this tool help me? But I understand the concepts. I'm not just, don't get me wrong, if I vibe code anything, that's probably what I'm doing, but I'm not going to do
100%.
anything of consequence.
I'm a total hypocrite.
Yeah. But, just in general, we shouldn't, dumb it out of the race. I think I like that. It's like, I have to understand how it's done. And then I'm going to take the place of why we're doing it. Right. You ever, I don't know why I'm going to make this reference super old, but Hunt for Red not Hunt for Red October, the other submarine movie with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. Anyway, one was like, I was supposed to know how to do it, release the nuclear missiles. Release the nuclear. It's probably such a bad reference. And the Naval Academy wanted you to know like why we're doing it, right? It's kind of, we need to have both the very execution, what it's the details that it takes. Am I doing it right every time without putting in any error, or know how to correct those errors quickly? But then somebody still needs to have the overwatch of like why we're doing it and for the purpose. Is it productive? Like you said, it's not just, I don't know. I guess AI again. I'm just gonna throw conspiracy theories out here. Maybe AI wants to build more NAND and more compute, so it's like let's make more projects. So you're running more things, so I get to build more machines. Who
Hold
knows?
on, wait a second. Are you implying, Mr. Allen, at the time of this recording, that AI is making itself larger because it wants all the resources on the planet so that it can make us subservient?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Starts telling us how to build energy plants, and
Well, I'm not sleeping, so thank you. That's fine. I guess NAND supply is really a much bigger problem. We need to be prepared to fight.
Nobody listening to like Zane just tries to terrify us the whole time.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is
all right.
again,
Keep that in your
information
mind.
important. Information, data with context is information, right? That's
keep this in your mind. That's why you still need to be involved, everybody, right?
Yeah.
Why are we building these data?
And by the way, I had ADHD. Greg had to go look Crimson Tide. Did not remember.
Thank you.
We had to open a browser while you were talking because that's the ADHD is popping today.
I don't mean to bring in. And by the way, Hunt for Red October is my favorite. My
Tom
favorite
Clancy classic.
Yeah, Tom Clancy classic. It's pretty cheesy, but I love it. I can watch it anytime. And I hate to put the nuclear themes in there, but I just always like that scene. Like, hey, the Academy wanted me to know how to do it. They wanted you to know why, right? Basically, I'm probably paraphrasing that, but you need those two parts.
Little cinema side note, though, they did the most one brilliant thing because they didn't want to have subtitles throughout the movie, where they went from Russian to English and Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
One of the best transitions I've ever seen in a movie. Okay, I don't have to read subtitles, and now Sean Connery has an English accent Scottish accent for some reason, and he's Russian. That's cool.
It's the
Why
best.
was he
Sean Connery's
also?
like, I'm Sean Connery. I'm not going to talk Russian.
Why was he also Scottish when he was playing a Spaniard in Highlander? Who knows? These are the mysteries that we will uncover as Zane's conspiracy theories that evolve over time with this podcast.
It's just for all his flaws. That's one of the brilliance of Sean Connery.
It is. Yeah. Ramirez.
Yeah.
What? You say Ramirez? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's me. I did learn in the remake. We're getting on tangent now, so this is what this podcast is all about. That in the Highlander remake, that I think is still back on the rails. I think Henry Cavill is in it, and supposedly Russell Crowe, an Australian man, is going to play Ramirez. So I feel like they're keeping it in the same vein of just as ridiculous
in Gladiator.
So I love it, man. I love. I hope he goes like extra Australian, like very like almost Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, just to make it just like a little homage to
not his generic English accent or is it generic American accent, but straight up, yeah. That's hilarious. I'm watching that.
So you were talking. So RSA conference. Let's bring it back, right? So the RSA conference is interesting because
AI is doing this to us. So let's.
It is. It is. Maybe they just want to confuse us and keep us there, so they can just keep taking all the NAND. But that is interesting, right? That RSA conference is. I'm gonna say it's like it's been a foundational security industry conference for a long time outside of like Black Hat, Red Hat, different focus, right? Different Black Hat conferences are very, very different focus.
That's a hacker court. Like that's the hacker.
They're very different worlds. And if you think of the same, let's have a conversation about just IC security. But the frameworks and the guidelines and understanding, for lack of a better term, what the hell is going on and what's coming down the path, without feeling like fear mongering, right? This is real. We just talked about stuff we've done internally that I didn't have to put in an approval for. We have access to these tools now, and our employers are trusting us to,
not do it on their networks and use
not
their
doing networks and don't create evil Clippy, etc. Got it, on it, boss.
Yeah,
but these are maybe there's some folks that aren't so trusting, and that's what these conferences are for. But I mean, that was just the highlights that you got, and the fact that you see it across everyone. That's the sort of tangential moment of, okay, this is the thing now, right? I remember this back when hyperconverged was kind of evolving, where it wasn't as sexy to have a SAN anymore, and everyone's boxes in hyperconverged. It was the Nutanix, the VX Rails, the SimpliVities, you name it, right? It was the same sort of wave of, everyone's doing this because X, Y, and you should be concerned with this because of X, Y, Z. But I think this is much more exponential because it's not just data, it's not just infrastructure, human behavior. It is understanding the probable impacts of something. Someone could write 2 sentences and completely expose all your data if they know what they're doing. That's terrifying. It's kind of terrifying.
You can do, it takes exfil to a whole new level, right? I have no, I mean, that's what these companies are saying is like, hey, how do you keep handles on this? How do you understand what this is? And I don't mean to bring in our jobs, but the company that our parent company expressed interest in buying, that's kind of one of the things they do. It's like, how do I tag and know your data and where it's going, right? And is it going to the right people? But now you have these, you're right, couple lines, and I can send or at least give insight to some entity that I might not have any idea what its boundaries are. So
one of those foundational things of security and information security in general is if we're thinking about it, someone's already doing it, and put your tinfoil hat on, right? That's just the world you have to, you don't have to perpetuate or live in. Exactly. So you have to understand it, and how would you protect against it, right? I won't say it's like a self-defense sort of thing. As well, why would you want to defend yourself? Well, in case someone attacks me. Okay, got it. Or I'm not going to go into like gun ownership. So, but that's the whole point is, how do I protect against this thing that could happen because it is so easy to do and accessible?
And someone's going to do it if it's that easy. Again, going back to, they don't even have to have a skill set the skill set is knowing it exists. I guess maybe is the right way to say it. It's funny you say that. Is like, if we think about it, I don't know why this latent thought came. When I first started in IT, things weren't as secure. Like, God, you just get owned. Oh. Everybody has admin rights on the box. It just makes it easier, Zane. We used to do that around lunch. We're like, hey, what if we got, and it was in newspapers. So we're like, we could get riffed tomorrow. Like, that's just what was happening. What if we got riff? Like, how would you take the place down? Well, I do this, I do that, I did. And then you started going, and we just started, wait, it's like wide open. We just started writing down. We were basically pen testing, whatever, war games kind of in our head, like simulations. And that's exactly right. We're like, hey, someone can think how to do this. They can, and they will once they figure it out, right? And luckily, back then, it was more about hitting malware, and then your screen would turn into a bunch of images you don't want to see. And it's like, I own you. They did it really, really quickly, but that is not the world anymore. And
Man, I think you
yeah.
just dated yourself. That was cutting edge when like that movie Hackers came out, right? I think
Yeah.
I think you're dating yourself a little bit here. I love it. I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
in. I love
Yeah, I've leaned into it, man. I have leaned into it.
it. You gotta accept it, man. You gotta accept it.
You're making me one of the wise old men. I remember.
Back in my day.
I
That's
am on
fine.
that
I have no
cusp. I
problem
just
being
learned by YouTube that I'm
for the cloud.
oh, sorry. I was like, I just learned it from YouTube because YouTube found me. The algorithm knows I'm a Xenial, and apparently we were on that cusp. We remember the rotary phone, and we remember the iPhone coming. And I'm like, a lot of people remember that, but apparently it's a very distinct little part of the timeline. But
Yeah, the fact that a rotary phone looks like an abacus to some folks is kind of terrifying to me, but that's okay. Maybe that's just speaking to the overall evolution of technology and the pace of which we're evolving technology.
And it could also be I lived in a very small town, and we just didn't quite have the good technology. So let's just ease up what everybody thinks my age is. But I said Neil, so that. But I do remember you had to push the button once you had the push button, and then it had a pulse function because there still was technology that was taking phone calls that didn't know how to deal with that beep. So it needed tat, 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 tat. It was really fun to just turn that on and just annoy somebody when they're punching the phone because they have to wait 7 minutes for the 9 to go.
Right. Great. One of the best Chris Rock bits that I love is a 4, 5. Like, it's a great freaking bit, man. And that bit was almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's
okay. All right.
But conferences, right? So, so RSA, great thing. I used to work for EMC years ago, which was EMC RSA was part of that, and I got to do some really cool RSA projects back in the day, like when everything got exposed because of a AD account that was left open on a Windows 2003 box. And basically compromised a lot of RSA, and it was a good time. But that is one of those
really RSA
ground zero moments that was sort of can lead to those worldwide impact. It hit every single RSA customer. Like, hey, this is a thing that we have to address. This was like 2008 ish, 9. I think that's what happened.
Interesting about that. They had a sign, and I don't have a lot of history with RSA. I wonder. It says, "Hey, the Wi-Fi is not encrypted. We are sniffing all the pack." Like it was like this huge warning. Like, hey, do if you want. I had my Bluetooth off. I knew it wasn't Black Hat, but I was like, I don't know, Bluetooth off, Wi-Fi off. My passport card's in the hotel room, so you can't RFI or RFTB. So anyway, that's interesting. I'm wondering. I didn't know about that. About the AD hack. That's crazy.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know if it ever fully got disclosed, but that was the internally here. We're going to tell you what happened. And I don't think I'm under any sort of non-disclosure here, but I don't care. One of the little things, like someone left a simple password for a 2003 AD box got inside the infrastructure and just now the company was compromised. But
that easy, man.
It is. It really is. And by the way, how easy do you think that is now to go sniff the network with all these tools that I can do agentically 1,000 times what it could do?
So maybe
not turning on Dyson fans because I'm got the vapors. Like this is the real project.
I'm gonna have it every time it finds a vulnerability. It turns on the Dyson fan, so I know to go look for something. That's how I'm gonna learn it.
There we go.
Subtle.
Now we're bringing it back. I like that.
Now it's productive.
Let's talk about like conferences in general, right? Because this is more of a general IT topic. I think if you're in IT long enough, no matter what you do from the coding side, if you're on the infrastructure side, backup, whatever you do, you're going to go to some amount of conferences in your career. I think between us, hundreds of conferences at this point.
Yeah, it's insane. And I really ramped up maybe in the last 9 years because of being in this industry, maybe almost 10.
The longer you're in, the more conferences you go to because you have more specific things, or if you're keeping up with the pace of things, you should be learning new skills and evolving those skills.
100%. Yeah. It's very valuable, right? So, hey, if you're out there, tell your organization is very valuable. Find the ones that are valuable. Definitely should involve yourself if you're not.
Yeah, don't go just to go to Vegas because eventually Vegas loses its luster. I'm just going to tell you. I don't want to be, again, once I'm an old man shaking fist at cloud. I've been to Vegas, I think, 47 times. Yeah, probably more than that
in 1 year. No, it's a lot.
It's a cool destination. However, don't go to a conference and maximize your time. So that being said, You could go be at the tables all day and night. You could, turn the badge around backwards, like, "Oh, I'm at a party." When what you've learned over going to these hundreds of conferences, min-maxing, right? Something I like to do, min-maxing resources, time. Like, what has been your experience at conferences? Let's say you're an attendee. Maybe see we're not, Zane from time to time and myself, we're booth babes, as they say, right? We're
Yep.
in the
Yep.
booth,
Yep.
doing the demo, shaking the hands, handing out the swag. But let's say you're an attendee of a conference. Maybe it's your first one. Maybe it's your first 10. Like, what is something that you could tell young Zane, hey, man, if you're going to this conference, you should do XYZ?
Yeah, that's a good one because yeah, I look at it now. I was like, I'll go to the conference in our role because I get to have those great conversations with customers,
Mhm.
see what's asked, where people's heads at. And so it's probably kind of the reverse of that. I think the first, I won't even call it a conference. It was more of a user con thing, but it was a thing called ATEX. I'm really going to date myself. It's a classified system for newspapers,
Woo!
and it was really more about user. It was almost like a user con where you had different presentations, but I still think that that plays part. And then I kind of graduated. I used to work for Veeam. Veeam is how I got my job, and I kind of got a little more savvy. I was still a customer then when I got there, and it was finding the sessions. And obviously, this is how you get into conferences to do sessions that have they have somewhat of a clever name. You know, they're going to have a maybe that's not always true because it could be marketing. You got to read through it, but it might have a more creative and intentional message behind it, right? Like maybe they put some time into it. But trying to find those balancing in between those sessions where you're
Mhm.
going to learn something new, right? I don't want to go to the ones, and maybe you and I now go to the ones our friends are in because we're supporting, but you want to go where you learn something new or a new perspective. But, and it's funny to me when I see customers come around in the booths because you got to think of that too. And they flip it around. I don't want your email and I don't want to engage with you. Get away from me. You should also go into that room to go find those technologies that you need, maybe you have in your environment. You could probably save that one for the last day, right? Hey, I have this. Here are my questions. What I'm interested in, or I just want to say hi. I love you. To finding out what is new and trend out there, because those sessions are going to be good, but really going booth to booth and kind of understanding and taking the time to understand why somebody gave somebody money to build a thing is probably interesting. And there may be something out there that you didn't think of, right? Like we just said, this agentic. Maybe you walked in that room like, oh my God, I didn't even think about these bots. I didn't think I put any in, but Salesforce has AI. This has AI. This is an attack vector, right? It can open your eyes to things. So, obviously it's a sales pitch. Obviously they're giving you, you know, whatever swag to remember them. And by the way, don't if you can go shopping, we call those shoppers, but
Yeah.
don't make that the intent, right? Maybe take things from booths that are very relevant to you, so you have, hey, this is downloaded information that I want to follow up on, and let them do the hot lead, right? Like so you get the follow up, but maybe do that intentionally. And maybe when you're first going, you got to go to everybody, and you'll get better about how to hone it in and kind of understand, who's different and what's different. But it's going to be a balance of that. And then, of course, there's networking. There's definitely networking. You got to make time for that. And that could either be taking a meeting with somebody you're already working with or you're thinking of working with, but really just other conference goers, right? There's always going to be somebody that's probably always there or maybe part of the community that is connected to.
Yes.
Make sure to spend time in that. I mean, it's a busy thing. You can always gamble unless one of those people wants to go gamble with you if it's Vegas. But
Mm.
I think it's more important. Nowadays I catch up with people I used to work with or people I know outside the organization. But if people have a very interesting take or they're in, like I said, in a community that's connected,
Mhm.
take that time to make those connections. That's why you're there. That's why you're spending the money. So anyway, that's a few things. The connections. Go see what's new, maybe even in the trade floor, and then pick out those really interesting or relevant topics, especially maybe ones you never even thought of before. So you can kind of go learn a new perspective.
Yeah, absolutely, and I echo that 100%, right? You definitely get, like, that macro view of you realize, "Oh, maybe you're at a certain level of, I understand this, or I have this mastery, etcetera," but there's that constant evolution thing of, "Hey, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I should go find a new room," right? It's the old Groucho Marx bit.
Yep.
But you always
Yeah.
find new perspectives, new
Yep.
purposes, and the shoppers, I love the shoppers, man. A lot of older DoD conferences I used to go to, there would be just the folks with the bags.
Oh, I've seen two.
"Alright, I guess you
I've seen
need the
covers. I
fifth
saw three
pin."
bags. I'm like, jeez. It's a huge conference, but
And there's some folks who do that, right? Oh, this is for my grandkids. Okay. But yeah, same
did
thing.
you buy
Like,
luggage? Did one of them give you luggage? Because that's probably a good giveaway. Here's a
yeah, I hope
roll.
you're local. Hope you didn't
Yeah.
fly in for this. Um, But that's the great thing is number one, finding your purpose for being there. And if you don't know, sometimes you find it, right? Hey, I'm going to be here because I'm expected to come back with some expertise. Maybe I have to deliver it to my team. Maybe it's I'm brushing up. Maybe it's networking. But there's actually always go with a purpose, right? And your purpose might be I have to do one of three things, four things, whatever it might be. But make sure you're networking. Establish new networks. If you're at that cool speaking session, go try and talk to the speaker
Yeah,
afterwards. Maybe
that's a
that's
good point. Yeah.
I've met some folks at our company conference last year that I kind of bridged a relationship with. Heck, I'm walking around the hotel we hosted it at, ran into the gentleman at a Starbucks that actually ran their entire video surveillance operation and explained, essentially, hey, if this casino, if the one video goes off, one camera goes offline, this essentially becomes a nice, bank. Like no one can you can't gamble. Like
Yeah.
we're in violation of laws. Like it cannot go down. I was like, I had no
Oh, yeah,
idea the
yeah, I didn't think
criticality of
about
these
that. Yeah,
things, right?
yeah.
And it led to a deeper conversation. That's just from a guy that, ran into him at Starbucks at the conference. Had nothing
Wow.
to do. He wasn't in a session. He wasn't even having a
He's part of
badge.
the casino. He has a thing. He knows your tech. You can strike up
Yeah.
a
He was like,
conversation.
what do you
That's
guys do?
amazing.
It was one of
Yeah.
those things. Like, what do you guys do? I'm like, interesting, had those conversations. But yeah, having those one-off conversations can lead to something much larger. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. I would trust a lot of folks to that. I think a lot of conference goers will go scan into your session, sit and do the thing. All right, now I'll go do the thing. Now I'll do
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
Get out of your comfort zone a little bit, right? I would
That's
say to younger Greg was, hey, if it's there to, hey, I got this certification or I'm here. Or I did a lot of stuff with, EMC and VMware back in the day of, okay, I'm going here to do these three things or learn these three skills, or that's cool. But you could also build a larger network. Some folks that are at our employer right now that I met through these conferences that I've had relationships for 10, 15 years that I
understood.
would have never met otherwise
Yeah.
or gained their insight or, hey, now I have a peer that, hey, I had this idea and I'm going to build Clippy 4.0 to help fight Clippy 3.0 that's going to take the world offline because Zane
Yeah.
told me the whole world's going to end because of AI.
Yeah.
I now have a peer that can bounce
Spent a
that
late night
idea
with
off of.
Zane, and he clued me into all.
Right. I was like, oh, I know Zane. Yeah. I know. Yeah, exactly. But I think it fosters relationships. It can help build your own brand, build your own network, whatever value you want to get out of it. Don't just go to the sessions. Pick and choose, be valuable with your time. And you know what? Maybe the session sucks. That's fine. That's okay. Go to the next
Find
one.
somebody in there that doesn't. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe you find the snarky, the old man in the Muppets. Maybe you just found a new friend that you have a like-minded
Yeah.
with. Who knows? But
And
yeah,
don't spend
definitely
time
just
in your
go do
hotel room the whole time, right? I mean, you got to sleep and do what makes sense for you, but don't just
find the
sessions and
medium.
then tie yourself up. Yeah.
Find the happy medium. Yeah, don't stay out till 5 a.m. then be up at 8 for the first session. No,
Yeah.
I would recommend that.
Yeah.
20 years ago, Greg,
Yeah. Maybe if you're
really ought to listen to me here. I don't care how good of a run you got on in blackjack. Just hey, man, you got to be there for that 0800. It's going to be
sure.
rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Why you're here. No, that is good. That's a good out of the comfort zone is really, if I look back and thinking even what I said, like I've finally walked up to people and I just said, hey, I'm trying to do this in a booth. And they're like, they whiteboarded it out for me. Hey, here's something you can do. And it was like, it opened my eyes to like, whatever I was trying to architecturally do there. But if you don't agree with them, it's fine, right? You had that conversation. You're out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the sales pitch from them. See what people have to say. You don't have to do anything, right?
But don't stay for the
probably
can
learn something.
koozie. Yeah, that's not why we're there, right? It is the what you could gain or try. You know what? If it's not worth your time, say, hey man, appreciate it. Thanks for the pen, but
And
I'm
they don't mind.
gonna beat feet, and that's okay.
I could tell someone's eyes like, all right, this message isn't resonating. Got it. I gave you the pitch. You know what it is. Thank you. Here's
Well, there's
your
a younger generation, and I won't say what conference I was at. There's a younger generation that they just pulled out the phone and just literally started texting while I was talking. Like,
like we're good.
are you just here because you were told you had to be here? I'm like, he said, what'd you say? I'm like, cool,
You
man.
need me to sign
Do it,
something
man.
for you? Like
Right. You need a stamp. Is that
There you
to
go.
say you were here? Right.
the
Don't do that.
networking thing I did, you made me think of something. Even at this conference, because of who I know, and this is someone we work with now, but I've known them before. Someone they know was like on my way to RSA, and he said, "Hey, you got to go over to our booth." He works with us now, and say,
Mhm.
"Go meet Zane." And the guy did walked over and met me. He's kind of an alliance, so now
That's
I
fun.
know him. And we talked for a good 10 minutes, like, "Oh, that's what I do, that's what I do." Ends up he knew other people in the booth too, right? Because that community was very much in the V mug community or in the V expert community in the past. And, again, through that community, my other community people who weren't even there said, "Hey, make sure you walk over there and talk to that guy." And boom,
That's awesome.
connection was made. So, like, yeah, it's like the agents. They grow and they grow and they grow, and they have
It
no
really is.
God.
It really is. They can just do it a lot faster, and they have no context understanding why.
Yeah, there's some context here. Yeah,
You're
no,
not a
there's
bot. You can
yeah.
understand, "Hey, see what I did there? You're not a bot." You can understand the why, and this is all this stuff matters.
Yeah. If we say it more and more, they'll forget what we said on the last podcast if they listen to it. So the name. Anyway,
Uh,
good job.
yeah, we try, man.
No, those are all good points. And now you can see why a conference can be very useful. And by the way, these are all notes one can take in their justification to their employer as to why they're going, right? Hey, this is what I'm going to get done on my objectives, and this is why we're spending the money, and this is what I'm going to bring back. And then go set out and do that, as best you can. And if some of it doesn't hit, put down what you did do, right? It's kind of simple, and it's
Yeah.
fun. It can be fun in the process. Yeah.
And hopefully this little segment of the podcast is what an AI agent should do for you, right? You just got roughly 40-ish years of information and insight. Folks have been doing this for a while, and
Thanks for being gentle.
5 minutes of nonsense. Yeah, I mean,
No, it's true.
keep it at
It's
40.
true. Yeah. And what we see, man, I was that wide-eyed guy to more savvy. And now it's interesting too. I run into people I worked with, other companies, and I even try to make time with them. Sometimes that takes me a little late, but I also know they have their objectives and clear-cut things to do. So again, like you said, don't go to your hotel room. Nobody likes me or anything like that. Like, just go find the group that you can socialize with or is on your agenda. Friends are going to do the same. You're going to come back together, and then you can share maybe even those experience what you learned. So
Maybe people won't like you, but don't be a Grubhub hermit, man. Don't just go to the.
don't do that.
Yeah,
Just there you go.
yeah.
There you go. We
Don't
put
be
it
a
in
bum.
one phrase.
Yeah. Shout out to Rich Barlow for the old Grubhub hermit phrase. That's never heard it before till him. But
You
hey,
can
if
build
you
a
know the
Grubhub.
phrase, you've been guilty of it. It's true.
Build a Grubhub AI bot agent, whatever, that notices that your location is after midnight and you're not in your hotel, and will automatically order Grubhub.
We'll
to be
find
there and
Taco
meet
Bell for you that are still
Find
open.
Taco Bell and or send it to your hotel room and remind you should go home. That's a productive project right
That
there.
is. And ordered you an Uber. Yeah. Like it's
That's right,
great.
Uber.
All the things. Yeah.
And the guy's got your food.
Yeah. He meets you and triangulates the point in time. Yeah. This is that.
All
Now
good.
we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting to the
That is
human experience that we're
I
trying
like
to get
that.
to, man. Exactly.
It's an AI assistant then.
That's just kind of sad. But yeah, this has been great, man. I think we were kind of hitting all over the place. We talked about TurboQuant, Pied Piper, bringing that back. Love that. AI projects, man. Mileage may vary, but make sure you have a purpose. Treat it like building a business, right? If you have an idea about an AI project that you really want to commit time to, I think everyone in our life wants, man, we should go into business together, or we should write a screenplay. We should do. And it either fails, or one person does all the work, or it's great, right?
Yeah.
99% is the first two, right?
Yeah.
But be valuable your time. Be valuable your time. Make sure you always have a purpose. And if it's experimenting, to Zane's point, put the freaking guardrails on, man.
Yeah.
Keep it in the shallow water. Mitigate your own personal risk, because personal risk is a freaking thing. You don't want to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on tokens, because wouldn't it be cool if I did XYZ? Yeah, it would be cool, but what's the risk reward? So
what is the risk reward? We can you can spend all the money, but then you'll have none. And I like go touch grass, right? How do you do projects to not spend all your money and also maybe give you more time to do the human stuff, like walk outside? I don't know.
How do you get kids? Listen to us medium-aged guys. It says, hey, get time back. Time is the most precious resource you have. It's finite. You never know how much you have in life, right?
Get another hobby that takes you outside, and maybe it is with your kids. That's actually a good one. That's my kids are, one of them still under 18, but I try to make time with them as well. So I find that these projects are starting to get me there. I could do more, less time.
Quality.
I actually gave my son this. I don't know if he's in college, and I didn't tell him this around AI, but I was talking to him about strategy to go into the next, because he's higher level math and the struggle. And I was like, you just need to get with a study group or a tutor. And I'm like, what am I going to tell him? I'm like, do your homework with them. I'm going to guarantee you're going to spend less time, understand more, and that equals more happiness. And he like laughs at me. I'm like, you laugh. More happiness because you get it done. You spend the right time with it, and then you understand more, right? Instead of spending 5-6 hours and just being frustrated and actually understanding less.
There's a phrase at the cornerstone in my household, which is you do what you have to do till you can do what you want to do, right? And this is more about maximizing and maximizing the time you get to do what you want to do, minimizing the time of what you have to do. And you know what? Everything becomes more valuable.
Yeah.
That's it, kids.
I think that's a good place to maybe
And on
end
that
on.
bombshell, yeah. Like
We
you
all
can
suffered whatever an hour just to get to the wisdom, and there it is.
well, we got it. We got there.
Well, well, thank you, Greg. No, these are always having conversations with you is always great. Especially the ones we can record and put down. Just kidding.
Yeah. We're getting to a
And
point now where every time we talk on the phone that we's like, hey, should we record this? Like, are we turning the NSA? We just record this and I'll save it for the podcast. And yeah, we end up talking for an hour on the phone. It's like, we should have saved that for the podcast. But
yeah, we're like, write notes. And then I wrote this note. Why did I write that? Yeah.
yeah,
I think everybody would be shocked.
I just had Dyson written on a sticky pad. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like, oh yeah,
Punchline.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe everybody's shocked that it's just us going, hey, everything we say, we should put in a podcast. Yeah, no one ever starts that way, but that's definitely how we did. And yeah, it's been fun. And again, thank you. And I thank everybody out there for listening. Till next time. At least
we got
currently.
a real special one planned for you next time. Real special one for you planned for you next time. Make sure you don't miss it. Episode 3 is going to be huge. It's going to have the correct name all the way through.
Yeah, that's what I say. At this point, not a bot.
But not a bot. Not a bot. Maybe that's it. Not a bot. Call and response.
Call and response. Okay.
We'll get the
It already
stickers and
changed.
t-shirts
All right.
made.
All right.
Good deal.
Well, thank you all.
Thanks everybody. For Zane Allen, this is Greg Curl. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.